Hawks Lays an Egg by Butterfly Apocalypse on AO3. Episode 10, Chapter 5. He wondered what happened. Had they been attacked? Found out? Had someone been killed? Certainly wouldn't be the first time. Or was it good news? Were they launching an attack soon? Not that Dabi would be participating in any attacks. He threw the door open, expecting to interrupt a meeting or battle in process. Instead, he was greeted with a dark, empty bar. He stepped in cautiously. The door slammed behind him. Something wasn't right. He was being watched. Surprise! People jump out of hiding. The lights flicker to life. Dabi bursts into flames. He was glad he was too surprised to do anything embarrassing like scream. He blinked several times, eyes adjusting to the new light. The bar was decorated for a party. Streamers hung half-heartedly from the ceiling, and a few balloons sat around the ground. Over the bar, a handwritten banner read, "Congratulations." Behind the bar, Kirigiri was closing one of the warp gates that the League had presumably been hiding through. "What is this?" Dabi asked, thoroughly confused. "Where's the emergency?" Toga laughed. "That was to get you here." She tossed a balloon at him. Dabi battled the balloon aside absentmindedly. "But what is here?" The balloon bonked Shigaraki in the head. He didn't look up from his video game, merely reaching out and disintegrating it. "Don't be a party pooper." Kuroguri scolded him gently. To Dabi he said, "It's your baby shower." Dabi glanced around the bar, at his fellow Leagues, mostly wearing party hats. Toga was trying to sneak a hat onto Shigaraki, but had yet to succeed. Kirigiri might have been wearing a hat. It was hard to tell. At the remaining 7 balloons, at the misspelled banter, "Baby shower." "That's right," Twice sang. "Who said anything about a baby shower?" "We thought it might be nice," Spinner said, a bit sheepish. Dabi felt like his mind was going at a snail's pace. "Okay, but why?" "Because you're having a baby, duh," Toga said, sticking her tongue out. Quick as lightning, she stuck a hat on Shigaraki and leaped out of range. He disintegrated that as well, but Toga seemed undeterred, pulling out another hat. Dabi sputtered, "I'm not pregnant." Shigaraki started coughing. It was unclear if that was to disguise a laugh or because of the dust at his former party hat that got into his mouth. "Kinda surprising, really," Toga commented. "I thought for sure you were a bottom." Dabi caught on fire. "What?" "We know that," Kirigiri cut in. "That's why it's egg-themed. We made cascarones," Mr. Compress said, turning a handful of marbles into colorful eggs with a snap. "Yeah," Twice called. He grabbed one of the eggs and smashed it over Spinner's head. Instead of exploding into confetti and glitter, it simply covered Spinner in yolk. For his part, Spinner didn't even look angry, just resigned. "Oops," Compress commented. "I guess those were the egg roll eggs." He decompressed another handful of marbles and shook one with the resulting egg. "These are the cascarones." "Which brings us to the first item on this party's agenda," Toga said, grabbing the egg and distributing them. "And that is?" Dabi asked, holding out his hand expectantly. His eyes widened when he realized Toga was making no move to hand him one. "This!" Toga cried, launching a cascaron at Dabi. Dabi yelled embarrassingly as he came under by glitter and confetti. He smashed out blind, hoping to void at least one of the eggs by his attackers. Memories of childhood water balloons and snowball flights surfaced, and he couldn't help but grin. He had 3 siblings. He knew how to deal with this. Contrary to popular belief, the best way to win against a siege was to run straight into it. He held up one arm to guard his face, and raced forward. Toga shrieked in surprise when Dabi grabbed her around the middle and lifted her up. "I have a hostage," Dabi announced, using Toga as a meat shield. Spinner immediately stood down, but Compress just laughed. "You think we won't take her out too?" He decompressed another batch of cascarones. If she's got a little damage, that just sweetens the pot. Point bonus. Shigaraki agreed, accepting an egg and launching it weakly. It smashed Spinner. Oh, come on, Spinner yelled. That's it. I have had it. I'm going rogue. He grabbed all the unclaimed cascarones, barricading himself behind the bar. He launched egg after egg at everyone else. Dabi mentally made 2 lists for future reference. Shigaraki will not look up from a video game when smashed in the face with balloons, party hats, teacups, don't ask, tiny moose figurines. Dabi could not emphasize this enough. Do not ask. Shigaraki will look up from his video games when smashed in the face with cascarones. More research was necessary to expand both lists. Dabi was very pleased by the efficiency of his strategy. Toga was light enough that he could haul her into the line of fire, no matter where it was coming from. I'll save you, Toga-chan, Twice called. He grabbed onto her ankles. Dabi tightened his grip around her middle, and it became a tug-of-war. A toga-war? Hey, Dabi protested. Get your own meat shield. For Stain! Spinner gave a mighty battle cry. He was wearing a woke over his head like a helmet, and had a bucket list of just glitter and confetti. Apparently, foregoing the whole egg thing, holding the bucket in the air, he spun around quickly, showering everyone in the contents. Hey, that's cheating, Compress complained. I've gone rogue, Spinner shrieked. The rules don't apply to me. Well, in that case, Compress took one of the non-cascaron eggs and threw it at Spinner. Wait, no. He used his woke as a shield. You're supposed to follow the rules still. Villain, Compress reminded him in response. Spinner nodded as if to say, fair enough. Then he called, no, wait, for reals. What? Compress asked, not letting up his own egg attack. Where did Kirigiri go? Spinner said. That was enough to give the fight pause. The Leaguers looked around for the nubulous companion. Oh no! Toga gasped. Look up! Everyone looked above their heads just in time to receive face full of flour pouring out of tiny warp gates. Kirigiri reappeared, dusting his hands off. I think it's fair to say I won that round. Dabi let go of Toga, which would have been okay, except Twice was still holding her ankles. He took half-landed on the ground with a thug. That's not fair, he complained. This is my baby shower, or egg shower, I guess. Toga giggled while she laid on the ground. Well, you got a literal egg shower. Dabi stepped lightly on her face. Life isn't fair, Kirigiri commented airily. And it doesn't really matter who won or who lost, except that I won and you all lost. Anyways, he clapped his hands together. Shall we move to the next game? Toga removed Dabi's foot from her face. Love to. Compress and Spinner used all the normal eggs, though. Kirigiri turned to the guilty, egg-covered parties. Oh, is that true? Spinner dropped the woke to point an accusing finger at Compress. He started it. Kirigiri put his hands on his hips. Mr. Compress? He prompted. Compress shrugged. Guess I have egg on my face. Hot, get it? There was a collective groan. Since the supplies for our other game has been carelessly squandered, Kirigiri shot a disappointing look at Spinner and Compress. Spinner crossed his arms and murmured, My cause was just. Shall we finish the games and move on to a different item? What's next, Toga? Toga whirled across the floor, apparently refusing to stand up. She groaned around the table until she found a piece of paper. Next is cake and names, she read. Ah, yes, the cake, Mr. Compress said with a chuckle, pulling out a marble. For the record, Spinner announced loudly, I tried to talk them out of it. Toga tissed. You planted the idea on our heads. You know how dangerous that is. Yeah, it's way too funny, Twice said. It's stupid. But then I tried to talk you out of it, Spinner protested. Hurry up, I want cake, Shigaraki complained. And I want to see if I have just cause to murder Spinner. Dabi drawled. You do, Toga said, giggling. Oh yeah, definitely, Mr. Compress said. Kirigiri just shrugged. All this was gonna be good. Decompress the cake, said Dabi. As you wish, Compress said with a flourish. On the table appeared a large cake. It was frosted sloppily, half with a bright blue frosting, half with white, as if they had run out of one color of frosting. Melted egg candles were scattered around the perimeter of the cake, and sugar hearts were placed into the forefront of the random envelopes. From where he was standing, Dabi couldn't read what was written on it. It was partially due to the bad angle, partially due to Dabi's less than stellar vision, and partly due to the obvious horrendous handwriting. Do you like it? Toga prompted. Kirigiri baked it. Twice and I frosted it, and Spinner came up with the message. Shigaraki-kun was there too, but he just ate all the extra melted axe candles. Dabi leaned forward to read the cake. Dabi, more like Daddy. The explanation points were presumably to make the fact that Daddy was way off-center. Huh. Dabi grunted. Spinner seemed prepared to protest himself in apology. You can have my piece, if you want. Then the weirdest shit happened. Dabi felt something bubble up in his throat. A light feeling. A single noise escaped him. It could have been mistaken for a cough, except it was followed by another, and then another, and then Dabi was laughing. Golfing, even. It was different from his diversive chuckles or rare amused huffs at Toga or Hawks' antics. He couldn't even remember the last time he just laughed. But now that he was starting to, he couldn't stop. Even when he thought he was about to get control of himself after a moment, he looked at the stunned, absolutely baffled expressions of the League and started up laughing again. He couldn't cry, but he was sure if he could, there would be tears of laughter streaming down his face. He felt like one of those stupid emojis Toga sometimes used. He caught his breath and was about to return to his normal self when he caught sight of the cake again and doubled over in laughter. It hurt his sides, it hurt his chest, it hurt his face, and yet somehow it felt amazing. In the moment, he might have ranked it better than sex, but upon further reflection, he would put it as a close second to sex. Nervously, Spinner spoke up. I can't tell if this is a happy laugh or a murderous cackle. I think, Toga said in awe, it's a happy laugh. Dabi caught his breath. It's a you guys are annoying idiots laugh. Oi, didn't know you liked being called Daddy so much, Compress commented. Does Hawks know? Shut up, Dabi told him, without much bite. A buzzy, happy feeling in his chest made it hard to feel mad. Toga waved her hands. Can I cut the cake? I bought a really good knife. She brandished what looked more like a meat cleaver than a knife. Dabi shrugged. Sure, just don't destroy it. A look of murderous glee crossed Toga's face. Bringing her verbal axe down, she sliced the cake in two, then four, then twice more into eighths. The precise was impressive. Dabi raised an eyebrow. Well done. Toga took a bow. I'm good with knives. Kirigiri served out the slices of cake, leaving one piece. Shigaraki eyed it. There's an extra slice. He commented. It's for the dad-to-be, not for you, Kirigiri said. To Dabi he said, bring it to Hawks. Do not eat it yourself. Sure, whatever. I bet it's nasty anyways. He took a forkful. It was rich and moist. It was heavily frosted, and it probably had diabetes on the plate. It was also very good in that made for a 7-year-old sweet tooth sort of way. Hawks would love it for sure. If you don't like it, I'll eat your piece, Shigaraki murmured. Somehow Toga had gotten a party hat onto his head. He hadn't seemed to notice. Toga clapped several times for everybody's attention. Now that we all have cake, it's time for the most exciting part. Names! What makes you think I want your name ideas? Dabi drawled. In truth, he was relieved at the idea of having some outside ideas. Luckily, the League ignored his thoughtless. Me first, Twice said. I don't have any ideas. Yes, I do. I'm curious, Dabi said, trying to be nonchalant. Let's hear them. All right, Twice cheered. Your baby is hatching from an egg, so I thought some bird-like names would be appropriate. Do not name your kid a bird name, like Jay or Gulliver. Dabi should have known better. This wasn't gonna be helpful at all. No. Twice slumped over in disappointment. Toga patted his shoulders. What about Hyobis? Toga suggested. Or Toby? Those are both bird names and good names. Those were considerably better, Dabi supposed, but... Were we just assuming this kid is going to be bird-like then? Toga shrugged. Pretty much. Does anybody have any non-bird-related names? Dabi asked, pinching the bridge of his nose. As a matter of fact, Kirigiri said, I do. Do tell. Dabi had higher expectations for Kirigiri's suggestion. I have two. If it's a girl, I think Nakia would be lovely. After all, children are gifts to be treasured, Kirigiri said. Behind him, Shigaraki mimicked gagging, and Mr. Compress snickered. Kirigiri continued. For a boy, I think Hirigo would be a name that would serve him well. Those are sappy-ass names. Dabi deadpanned. Sappy as they were good names. He mentally jotted them down. Maybe so, Kirigiri agreed. But you, in your own way, are a sappy-ass man. I'm a what? Dabi had never been accused of being sappy in his life. He was many things. Scary, brutal, powerful, and even franchised himself funny in a sarcastic way. But being accused of being sentimental? Dabi would have chosen another flower shower over this attack. This is factually incorrect. I don't know about that. Compress hummed. You got something to say, Mr. Mime? Dabi growled. Mr. Mime was a Pokemon. An ugly Pokemon. That wasn't exactly the insult he intended, but he was sticking with it. Oh, it's just in the past months or so you've been... How do you say? Compress trailed off. In your own head more? Spinner offered. Twice giggled. Space Cadet. You've been more prone to making almost pleasant expressions and talking about nice things, Kirigiri said diplomatically. And I, Dr. Toga said, standing on the table, have a diagnosis. Dabi didn't need to fake his non-pulsed face. He was putting extra care into also looking mildly pissed off. Give it to me straight, doctor. He deadpanned. That is all you guys are getting for now. Sorry. I hope you guys had fun with that one. That was really cool. That was really nice. I really liked that. That was so sweet. Aw, I loved that chapter so much. Look at that. They're bonding. Oh my god, I love that so much. Some of the names are actually really good as well. So I like that. This was such a sweet chapter. I really like them. I really like chapters like this. And fanfictions like this where, has the league being less of just crazy maniacs. Because that's what Horikoshi portrays them as. Crazy maniacs, murder maniacs, and it's just you had such potential. I think what Horikoshi does, this is something that my significant other said, what Horikoshi does best is, first impressions, right? Getting the essence of the character out on the first watch and the first go, but then when it comes to actually developing the characters, and actually not even just in character development sense, but just development in the sense where it doesn't feel like a 2D character, where, for example, Dabi's character is very 2D. His whole gimmick is the fact that, he hates Endeavor, right? And he's, a stain enthusiast. That's literally fucking it, right? And in fanfiction, you might be thinking oh no, but he has this whole nuance thing. No. We added the nuance as fans. That whole Dabi, for example, I like to think of Dabi as a very tragic character in the sense of he is the foil to Todoroki, Shoto, in the sense of escape and in the sense of endeavor and trauma, right? Todoroki doesn't hate his father, but he doesn't like his father either. He's just neutral towards his father towards the end. right? Yeah, in the beginning he was really hateful and spiteful towards his dad, but it simmered down. He moved on. Physically, yeah, he's still trapped. He's still in the cage. Mentally speaking, he's free. Dabi is the opposite. Dabi is physically free, but mentally, he's still in that cage. His every decision, his every move is garnered to endeavor. And in different fanfictions, we see this portrayed in different ways, where that hate ends up winning. Or, he finds other things to do, or he breaks out of the system. But that nuance, that whole, I am being led by the past and it's slowly diminishing and destroying me, is nuance that we add. That whole, oh yeah, I'm horrid, I'm horrible, but I'm also soft and a big brother and, trying and all that stuff. That whole, I don't know how to love because I was never shown love. And it's like for example, in this one, right? In this fic, he doesn't want to end up like his father. He wants to do better, but at the same time, he doesn't know he's capable of even loving his own kid. That is such nuance. But My Hero Academia main never does that. So I love fan fiction, and especially fics like this one, because it gives us that nuance that Horikoshi just couldn't hit. We get that Dabi elder sibling, elder brother vibes, right? Sibling, elder brother vibes, right? We're getting the vibes of, okay, this is nuance. We're seeing his things, his thoughts of like, oh yeah, sure, the fact that, Dabi might not be able to, love his own kid, but then we see him literally loving his kid. We see the nuance of like, oh, I could think Hawks is cute, but I'm not gonna fall for him. That is what I love to see. And I'm loving it in this fanfic. As one of the tags state, this is crack with a side of serious rye. And I love that so much. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.